Hi everyone, I'm Matthew Applegate. Sounds strange, but I'm not sure how much you're going to get out of this talk, because up until recently I had never done any kind of web development before. You know, I kind of mucked around with doing really awful HTML pages for my son to put pictures online and stuff like that, but it was never anything really kind of useful, anything thorough. It looked like it was written in Notepad, and it kind of stayed at that level for a while. Something happened, and I kind of decided to take the plunge and learn some new languages. I am a developer. I'm a developer since Nintendo Game Boys. I know about 20 languages. You know, from Z80 Spectrum all the way up to Xcode. You know, but I've never done anything. You know, I've done basic HTML. Never really messed around with JavaScript or CSS, and then I had to learn PHP and MySQL as well. So I had to take a week off work to do that, to get it in my head. I'm doing a PhD at Cambridge in music educational technology, and I was given an assignment to do with two people. They were just kind of chosen at random. Matthew, we're going to pair you up with these two women and see how the project goes. And I thought, okay, cool, great. So yeah, it was very difficult to collaborate with them and to work with them because I'm part-time long distance. In the end, I did complete the course, did hand in the work, but it was a very difficult experience to go through. And I thought, you know, the VLE we were using at that university and previous universities I taught at was awful, and because it was just always so bloated and ridiculous and unnecessary. So I thought, you know, I need to do this, and the only way to do this will be to make a web page that does it. And I've made loads of video games in the past, and I thought I could do it, you know, maybe as a kind of video game thing, as an application. I thought no, because for the most part researchers don't use handheld devices to do a lot of deep researching. They kind of use desktops. It'd be better if it's an online thing. With a database, I'm actually going to have to learn this stuff. So I drew it out on paper. Like most things, it's strange, but all the things I make are primarily digital. Yeah, so it's kind of strange that I actually start all my projects on paper. I have a big chunky pile of A3 paper, and I just love kind of drawing it all out. And it is very, haphazard. You have the kind of index HTML at the very top, and it kind of splits off into all the other stuff. And that was kind of my map. I knew kind of where I was going and where I was going to kind of make it around the site. I had that problem that all my websites that I'd done in the past looked awful, yeah, and they were kind of very underwhelming when you saw them, and it was kind of like, I kept seeing this kind of style of a website, and it kept popping up again and again and again and again, and my friend finally pointed out, oh, that's just Bootstrap, yeah, I'm sure a lot of you have heard it, and I thought, well, that would kind of help me from getting from bad stuff to reasonably okay stuff, and that was a big confidence boost when I had that kind of standing on the shoulders of giants, these people who made Bootstrap. I was able to just load that in and start kind of moving along from there. So I made my index HTML. Yay! This is a minor miracle for me. I'd done coding before, so it was fairly self-explanatory. It looked good, didn't do anything at all. None of the buttons worked, nothing, none of the links worked, it just looked good. But the best way I've always found to code is to always take apart other people's code and learn to do it like that way. So it's a case of I slowly, made the buttons down here go off to other pages, slowly pieced that together. But I knew I needed some serious time to kind of really understand what the hell MySQL and PHP were. And they're quite simple. They're actually quite simple. I mean, how many of you do kind of compiled programming languages? Yeah? What drives me mad is like you make a variable on a web page and then it disappears when you go to the next one. What the fuck is that? It's just, when you do Xcode, you have to actually physically destroy the things at the end of it. You have to kind of completely destroy all the different classes and so on, because you have to clean up at the end of the app. But with web programming, you had to keep constantly reminding it that you wanted to re-access these things, and it was completely confusing for me because I was just staring at this screen. I was like, I know the variable is made on this page and it's not there when I go to this page. What's going on? So naturally, it took quite some time. So I booked a week off work and I watched a lot of videos on YouTube about making databases. And I just made a very simple database on, I think I'm using XAMPP, and put my name in it. And I think by the end of the first day, I managed to get it to say hello Matt and draw my name from a database. So that was a victory. Yeah, that was a victory. That was like, well, I can do anything now, right? I just need a bit more chocolate and I'll be fine. But it was great. I kind of got something out of the database, and then the next stage was, okay, I need to make a sign-up page. And it was just reversing that process and putting it through. By the end of the week, I built pretty much the basic structure of the site. This is my partner on Facebook, Emma. She's not my partner on Facebook, she's my partner in real life too. And yeah, I had a week off work to do other work. You know, I just literally just, you know, it was like a normal week at work. I just, you know, office door closed, getting on with it. But it was done. I had this thing. It was, you know, it wasn't great. It had loads of bugs, it had loads of flaws, but it was, you know, way infinitely better than what I had done. And so this was around May time. So every weekend I would go through this. This was my map on the website. So I would go through the whole process again and again, and you know, I would find all the little bugs and little problems with it, and write them in there. And at the end of the night, I would do it. I code better at night, like really late at night, because I don't have any kids running around bugging me, and no distractions. Put Archer on Netflix and just code. And then yeah, I just work through it all, and you know, rub it out and do it again and again and again. And I usually have this pattern of, I would do the kind of more coding stuff on Saturday, and on Sunday I would do looking at the internet for widgets and different ideas of kind of add stuff in. And I did all the kind of the database stuff very incrementally. You know, I would spend a good 2 hours learning just about that function, so I kind of really got it. It took a while, but it was worth it in the end. Now I've got this kind of crazy chart of things that I need to do long term. You know, one of them is get a UX designer, because it is, you know, it is just Bootstrap. It works, but it is just Bootstrap, and I think you know, it's fine for how it is, but I think in the future I'll need to kind of adjust that. So that's where I'm at. So the make paper started off as a crazy idea, and it got posted around the internet. My friends who are technologists started posting about what it does. I haven't even explained what it does really, but essentially it's an academic collaboration network. You go on there, and it's kind of like Tinder for academics. Okay, I'll show you what I've done if you show me what you've done. Yeah, essentially you would post up the papers that you've done in the past, and you would propose an abstract or something that you want to work on, and then people will come to your profile and say, I want to collaborate on that. Yeah, they'll be notified about it because their interests will be in a database, and it will match up with what's in the paper. So when they put on a paper online that's about music education, and then one of their interests is music education, in their list it will say, hey, this guy needs help on this kind of paper. You go to it, check that person out, see if you want to collaborate. You offer to collaborate, and they can choose to accept. And then once you accept, you get access to a Google document to work on together. So you can collaborate online. It speeds up, it's meant to speed up the process. And you know, it is, you know, like if you like this person, you want to work together. So I posted it online. I know quite a few people in technology, some of you might know. They reposted it about 5 days after it got posted, and I was working on it. I had an offer to buy it outright, which was quite nice. I'm still in talks with them, and then I'll take it to another person. They've now, so now I've got 2 people offering to buy it, which is quite nice. So you use it as leverage to see what you want to do with it. But then I thought, if I go down the funding route, I could probably get that much money plus still own the damn thing. So there is that possibility as well. So this morning we kind of created Make Paper Limited to kind of get the ball rolling in what we want to do with it. Make Paper is actually the first of the Make ideas. I knew that people needed to be able to make papers online together. That's what the original internet was kind of intended for sharing documents, for furthering discourse and research, not just pictures of cats. Yeah. But unfortunately that's the route we've gone down, so I kind of want to take it back to the old boring kind of text, working on actually people getting shit done, I suppose is what I want to kind of push for. So we're kind of at that stage, it's live now, people can go on it, and it was really exciting yesterday because it went live with all the bugs in it, all the flaws in it, and people were still able to upload their profile, upload their pictures, and drawing the right pictures out of the database and all those things. And it's very strange seeing people you don't actually know in your website uploading a profile. It's very exciting. Maybe I'm a little bit sad, but it's quite nice to see that people who had actually done some really cool research were thinking that this was a good idea. So we also mailed out to the 427 people who signed up to be notified about the website when it goes live. So slowly today we've had more and more people sign up. I think when we hit around, say, about 100 mark of people actually sign up to the website, we'll start to see collaboration start to happen. It only takes one person to say, I want to work on this paper, and then everybody will be notified that they need help on this paper if their interests match it. So I'm going to show you a demo of it, is that alright? Yeah? Now you've got to bear in mind, this is my first ever website, okay? So you can be brutal or make suggestions, I'll listen. But yeah, it is my first website, so please be nice. Here we go. Okay. So I really, I'll make a new. No, I don't need that. I don't need. Why is it doing that? I don't need the internet unless XAMPP is running incorrectly. That would be problematic. My son has been using this. Yeah, I don't need the internet. Is there a simple login for the internet, or is it really convoluted process?
It's very good same thing. Can you pad wildly for a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's actually, I'm trying to run it off XAMPP, so it shouldn't actually need the internet. Sorry about this. Let me try and force quit this and then reboot it. My son's been using this computer for Minecraft. And that's what the spinning wheel means. It means your son has been on it. Why not? Oh, you've been using the work computer, so I'm very sorry. This just isn't clicking. Okay. Hopefully we can get it.
Okay. I'll come back.
Yes. Hopefully, because I don't actually need the internet, I just need it to load up XAMPP.
What's XAMPP?
XAMPP allows you to run a kind of servery, databasey, MySQL, PHP thingy on your computer. That's how I understand it. And that's kind of what you really need to know. It's a magical. It's
like Mac, but they've ported the Windows one over.
Yeah. This one seems to work a lot better than Mac on here for some reason.
Is it made by the same people?
Probably. Really sorry about that.
It's spreading over cross-platform, so using on Windows as well.
So it's starting, that's a good thing, yeah?
It's app for Windows.
Did Mac only then, was it?
I think the M is Mac.
Oh, is it?
Whereas
Sorry about that.
the W in one is Windows. Example, it's a sort of, I don't care whether we're on Windows.
Do you have a computer that's on the internet? Can I borrow that one?
I think
I'll
the
do
benefit
it
as well
from the
with
actual
example is
website.
you get a Tomcat server in there as well, so if you want to do a Java stack account.
Sorry about that, guys. How strange it decides not to work on my computer. Okay. Is it deadly slow here? Oh, okay. So yeah, it hasn't changed in terms of its design. The buttons now work, which is helpful. But it was a case of I can't be myself because I'm already on here. I'll be Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. How many of you put in silly names when you're testing a website? I had like Jimi Hendrix, I had Benny Crocker, I had Greg Kinnear, Ash Ketchum, Machine Man. I had loads of really silly names just to keep you going when it's like 3 in the morning and you're coding. You have to have silly names to. I'll put Jimmy at jimmy.com. Sure,
Do you
that's.
have to read that email? Sign up.
No, we don't have at the moment we don't verify the login. So you can use and abuse that as you like at the moment, but we will. But if I had to go through the whole process of doing all the boring stuff of, all the fields aren't completed. So if I put in a password and I go, it'll say how to do the checkbox as well. If I do the checkbox, it'll then say, oh, it needs to be 8 characters. But all of these little things I had to do Google searches for to slowly get me through this process of actually making it a real sign-up page, which was fun. Now the emails don't match, so I have to change all that. So all those little things, I just had to broke it down. Literally every single box in there, I had to go away and learn how to do that. And it's amazing how many YouTube videos there are to do it. I've had a lot of experience in programming, but not, web development at all. So, Jimi Hendrix at gmail.com. This is where it got really complicated. I originally had it so you could type in where you were from, and that's fine, but everybody types in University of Cambridge differently. They'll type in Cambridge University, or so I just what I did is I actually made a scraper which scraped Wikipedia's list, all the hrefs from Wikipedia's higher education and further education lists. So I made a scraper to scrape all those, and I put them in a spreadsheet, and then I wrote a bit of code to just put all the bits of code around that list. I'll show it to you, it's in my computer later. But essentially I got this list of 800 and something places, that way I can get through it very, very quickly. And that's, originally that was in the actual web page, and I learned about how to do things like include PHP, so you can include a completely separate page, and that was quite nice because it made it much content. So every single thing I had to go through the process. For this, locations, I scraped all the towns and stuff from Wikipedia again, which is quite a nice thing to do. It was very easy. The subjects, again, scraped from various websites to do that. And so I'll go for church music. And honest agree. This next box was, one of those classic things where I had to go away and make sure that it correctly counted how many characters I'd used. But yeah, it goes on and on. So if I choose, say, music technology, because I know there's music, and some of the music, other education. The other things I had was the social media stuff. If you put in social media elements here, when it shows you your profile page, it'll actually put the icon on the screen, and if you didn't put it in, it won't show it. And it was just a real kind of Google everything, look at other people's websites, how did they do that little element, and I'll spend 3 hours on how I can get to that point. It was a pretty intense week, a lot of Haribo. Here's my profile page. At the moment I haven't got like a default image that loads up if I haven't uploaded it. But you can You can edit your photo, you can upload your own photo to it. You can view how your profile looks for other people. You know, if I go to make paper, let's make up a paper together, guys. What can we have?
Chocolate egg.
The-
Chocolate egg studies.
That's going to be more intense. The repercussions of chocolate eggs and 18th century bar fights.
You get the message. His name's already taken.
It wouldn't surprise me in academia. It wouldn't surprise me. A bit of archaeology going on. No, I can't do archaeology because I know there's somebody live on the site who does archaeology. And so if I put it as music education.
Is that the same subject list that you've chosen to say that you're studying?
Yeah. This is the main subject area of the paper. This is the subject area I don't need help with. So that's the subject area of the paper. There's a hidden stats page later on so you can find out what's going on the website that's publicly available so you can see what papers are coming up and what areas are most popular and all that stuff. That's all kind of anonymized data. Put it at PhD level. Eggs. Duh. I'm not going to write a big thing about it because we all know this subject well. If I already started a Google document, I could put it in here, and that would be revealed to the collaborators that I kind of allow access to it. So if somebody asks, "Oh, I want to write about eggs too," and I like what they've done, I approve them, and then they get access to this external link. So if I go egg link, it doesn't have to actually be a real thing. And I need help with the music, education side of it, and I need help with Egyptology on it, of course. They go hand in hand with eggs. So it just reminds me that everything you put on here is publicly viewable except your hidden link. You can put in your email address to be contacted. You can put in, you can go to Write Latex, start a document there. You can go to O'Reilly Atlas and go there. Hit make paper.
What's Write Latex?
Write Latex is a document site that allows you to do very complex algorithms, mathematical and science algorithms on the screen, and it's a really good kind of collaboration tool that they purely make. I kind of teamed up with them because they only do the document creation and we only do the matchmaking.
Is it like Google Docs for math stuff?
Yeah, for really geeky stuff, really, really intense, great stuff. So this is my paper. Collaborators have come up as Blue because I'm the creator of it. It's got no views, sadly. Here's the stats page. You can see that one paper is online that needs help. Music education, that's my one. Because I'm the author, I can see the external link. People who aren't collaborators and so on. I can edit it. I can say it's completed, and then I can give everybody I collaborated with a score. So their collaborator score goes up, and it becomes kind of gamifying it. And I put in all the social media buttons because I need people to know about it, basically. I need people to be able to share this paper across all the different networks. And it's quite interesting, again, every single button on the screen required about 2-3 hours worth of research to get to that point. But it's been fun. I actually prefer programming as opposed to playing on games, so it was quite nice to do. So if I click on the collaborators, I can kind of see it's now come up on my profile that I need help with repercussion of chocolate eggs in 18th century bar fight, so it now knows that it's the thing and that other people can collaborate on it. And that's kind of what it does. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. It kind of cuts to the chase. If I log out and if I log in as me, so I'm sure it will bring it up as a potential paper for me to collaborate on. Okay. So there you go, collaboration wanted. Because music education is one of my interesting things here, it will bring it up in the collaboration wanted area. So I can go in here and I can't see the external link, so and I can offer to collaborate. And I click on the collaborate button, and I go, yo, eggs, and that will send this message up here to them. It cuts out the kind of need to kind of have an opening line in academia, which is quite difficult for a lot of academics. So just hit make paper, that'll send it back to Jimmy. I've forgotten his login, but you get the idea. Yeah, it kind of it just connects people and allows them to kind of get on with the research. It showed, recent kind of research on academics has shown they spend like 57% of their time alone, not actually meeting other people where you should be collaborating on things together. But it's early days, and that's my first experience of writing a website. Have any questions? Yeah?
I do have a question, but it's not about the coding of the site
Yeah.
particularly. When a friend of mine has just finished her PhD, and I've never been in that world, and I said, kind of casually, do you use things like Google Docs, to work as a team, and she works at a university and they collaborate. They did not know that was even a technical possibility, the idea of multiple people being in a document at the same time.
It's amazing, it's like travelling back to the past in academia. It really is. It's like, well, is there a book on that I can read back here? And it's like, not really. No, and that's why I think things like LaTeX and O'Reilly Atlas are going to be quite useful, because they're going to allow people to, hopefully, I just want people to speed up research. A lot of the concerns that were raised by by academics were, you're going to be sharing stuff online and we want to keep this all secret. It's like, well, if you met somebody in the real world and you wanted to collaborate with them, you would have to share. You would have to hand it over to them, and you can kind of see that this person is the person. You can check, through all the social media that this person is who they say they are. If you don't want to, you don't have to share it. It's one of those things. But for the most part, the older academics are like, don't know about that, this whole newfangled technology, Matthew. But a lot of the younger academics are like, shit, yeah, we can really kind of, speed up a lot of things here, because a lot of people just want to get on with the work. If you were writing a paper that's a cross-discipline paper, and you weren't an expert on that kind of subject area, you could just put out a call for that kind of area, and, naturally you would have to say, this was co-authored by, this other person, and then you could write it. That's completely legitimate to do that. You're often encouraged to work on papers together with other people. So it's just, at the moment, one of the kind of the walls I'm going to hit up against is that I'm kind of deinstitutionalizing academia. It now doesn't matter what university you go to, if you can collaborate with all these people going to these big universities online. For the most part, you would pay to go to an expensive elite university because you have all those networking opportunities. When I was told I was going to Cambridge, they said, here's your fee, and then this is your other fee for all your networking opportunities. It's like, it's just like, I don't think I'll be going. So it's the case of, the only thing I can see that people might be reluctant is that you don't have to go to MIT to collaborate with people at MIT. You don't have to go to these other universities. You can, if you've got a brilliant idea and you really want to solve that problem, you really want to do that research, you will focus on that and you will be able to deliver it. So that's what I made. Make paper was, that's kind of just the start of it. I mean, I thought, well, if it works well with papers where I know that they need help collaborating, it might work well with other things that I make, like comic books. Artists that come online and say, I want to do some sci-fi, and I need it in German, and I need this. You can put that in and make comic. You can put other things in, make music, make anything that's digital, anything that you can share online could be done through a different kind of make system. And I firmly believe if you're going to do something more than once, make a damn template. So I did make a template of the site, so I can change it around again and again. But yeah, any other questions? Yep.
How did you choose PHP as your version?
How did I choose PHP? I didn't really choose it. It was the fact that I overheard it once. Yeah, it was the case of, yeah, you need something like PHP to work out MySQL. And I thought, okay. And I had been given a book. I mean, it works. It's not the most eloquent of things ever. But it does work. I'm fully aware that there are other languages that can do the same thing. But now I've started, I'm kind of, I'm there with it. It's part of me now. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Did you feel like because some of the things that you talked about, like form validation.
Yeah.
So I do form validation all the time, but when you learn how to do it field by field, the first thing that you do once you've done it once is try and never do that again, and so you end up using a library like Parsley or like validation, something like that, so that it takes away. Did you quite quickly get to the point of how many times did you do something before you're like, okay, next time I do this, I've learned what I now need to know to not need to know that. Did that sentence make any sense?
Well, it's quite fun because naturally I like learning things. So every time I learn something new, there was, more serotonin kicks off in your head, and you're like, I don't need chocolate right now. So it's the case of that. I didn't know there were libraries in the world that did this stuff. I knew there was stuff for compiled languages. I knew, but I think you pointed out Chosen to me to kind of make that drop-down list, because I was just thinking, I've seen it on a site somewhere. We just start typing and it does it. And I thought, it must be out there, there must be something like that. But with the form validation, it sounds really sad, but I was really excited by form validation.
It's really exciting, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, take that form, you're validated now, and you work properly, and you send the data to the right place. It was, I don't know how to answer that. I don't know when it kind of really worked out in my head, I know how to do that, but it was...
But the next time you do it, do you then immediately go, like, my first thought whenever I now code anything is, how can I not write any code? Someone's probably solved this problem.
See, the thing is, when I was doing Xcode, have any of you done Xcode? It's horrendous. It is evil voodoo magic, right? It's pure, unrelated to anything in the world you ever. So I wrote a processing package, in a language called processing, to write Xcode for me. Yeah. So I would say, I need to show this image on the screen here in processing. I would just simply type that, and then it would auto-generate the text in Xcode for me, and I could just copy that over to Xcode. And so I actually wrote a programming language to write Xcode easier. So I was able to code entire video games in Xcode, which was quite a feat. If you ever look at it, you just think, that doesn't make sense. You literally have to string things together with these little bars across the screen, and just, I don't know how I got through it. I don't know. But I think in the future, yes, I might make a kind of, something in processing, like I want to show a screen here. We're not talking like, what was that horrible thing, Microsoft front page, remember that? Where you kind of move things around that way, but certainly to speed things up. And yes, I was copying code from other pages and posting it in other things, but it was really, really fun. It was really, really fun, and I would, encourage anybody to go out of their way to learn a different language, or just a completely different way of doing things. Because I took a week off work to do it, and built pretty much the whole site in a week, and then just used weekends to tinker with it. But it's a lovely experience to be able to go through something like that. I now have a better understanding of what the developers I work with do, and appreciate it. And so that's kind of what I did.
Is the code open source that other people can come in and...
Not at the moment, no. It's something I'll have to learn how to do to share it properly. I know there's things like GitHub and stuff like that now.
If you've got commercial interest in it, though, do you want to go open source at this point?
Strange enough, it's not the actual website. I mean, if you look at it, it doesn't look great. It's the idea. Right. It's the concept behind it. And, I've been in the music industry, entertainment industry, video game industry for 15 years. I know how to protect IP right away before it leaves my door. Fortunately, my older sister is an IP lawyer. So, yeah, we're fine with that stuff. But in terms of the code, if I can share it, then I will. ever since I made my first Game Boy cartridge, I shared all the open source code on how to make music on Game Boys. Oddly enough, no one ever wanted to use the code. They just wanted me to make the cartridges for them. So they were lazy. But I think developers are a lot different now, a lot more active in what they want to do. Yeah.
Have you any thoughts about things like rating people's reputations, stuff like that?
I only really wanted to kind of focus on the collaboration that they had actually done on this site. So there is if I sum back in, there is collaborator score. So after you've worked on a paper, you can rate the people who've worked on the paper with you. But it's one of the things I want to improve kind of visually. It just has collaborator score 5. So it's quite dull. But you can only get that score by working on people on this site. So it will hopefully encourage people to finish papers and to rate people. You have to rate people at the end of the paper. It'll pop up in the bottom right hand corner to say that you have a message. You have to rate your collaborators. Yeah.
The follow-up to it was how do you share credit on that?
On the papers, when you do add a collaborator, it will appear in another box. If I show you a paper, there's this section over here. It will just put their names in boxes over here to show that they're co-authors in green and so on. It does say that it's down to you how you publish it yourself. At the end of the day, that's how you do it in the real world as well. You have to all kind of decide that you're going to share equal credit or whatever. Just it comes up in blue if you're the creator of the document, and then green if you're a collaborator on it, and it will be down to you how you do it. Most academics will understand that right away, and hopefully follow, play nice. Yeah. Yep.
How are you sorting the results? So say you're looking for things in music education.
Right.
How are you limiting and sorting so that you don't just get everything music education and then?
At the moment, it's going to just draw randomly 5 out of all the suitable ones.
So just a shuffle.
Yeah. And this at the moment, my one on my computer looks way more impressive because I've got like Jimi Hendrix, Ash Ketchum, all those different users in there. So this data is different, and there's a lot more things over here. There's a keywords page. There's most viewed papers. All of this will work as soon as it gets populated. But this is fun. I didn't know there was a library that did that. Again, it was just a matter of spending a couple hours and making it appear. So it was quite nice.
Have you considered social media sign-up? I know it's academics and social media might not be a bit of a juxtaposition for them.
It's the case of, if I can, this is quite dry and quite flat, and there's a reason for that, because I didn't want to link too much into social media. I actually wanted people to be distracted out of social media into this, as opposed to this, social media sign-ups. I don't know, because a lot of academics won't go near Facebook. There's a lot of people.
Unless they're running studies on the link.
Exactly. Especially, with their Essex, or their recent study, which is quite controversial in itself, which is quite amusing. And a lot of people just won't go near Google Plus. So it's in general. So it's the case of at the moment it's just keep it as flat as possible. I understand the value in just being able to click a button and dragging in all the data, but at the same time I just thought I'll keep it quite simple. I want people to be distracted into this site, but not be distracted out of it by social media, because I just want people to get on with the damn work. Really. I'm quite strict with that. Okay. That's kind of my experience of making a website.